What's going on, YouTube? So when the Hyundai Palisade was first introduced a few years ago, it made a really big splash. While it has lots of strong areas, perhaps what it is best known for is all the surprising luxury it packs into a mainstream family three-row, especially the top-end calligraphy model. And that got us thinking. Should luxury buyers be considering the Palisade instead of models like the best-selling luxury three-row, the Acura MDX? To answer this intriguing question, we've got both of them, fully loaded and separated by about $12,000. So is the MDX worth the price premium? Let's go ahead and find out. Now I already mentioned a little bit about the pricing, but let's discuss a few more details right off the bat here. For the updated Palisade, we have the top calligraphy trim, which is still very value-packed. Its total price is $52,310 after destination. Now while you could get a lower-priced MDX that is much closer to that $52,000 price tag, for comparable features you'll need to choose the MDX Advance. Its price has increased this year to $64,695 after destination. That puts the official price difference at just over $12,000, which is something we'll address further in the value section. But for now, let's get into the comparison. Starting things off with the exteriors, both have fresh and modern designs, with the MDX just undergoing a full redesign last year, and the Palisade being completely refreshed this year. They are also extremely different from each other, with the MDX going for a classier aesthetic, while the Hyundai has a bold, in-your-face approach. Regardless of what your preference may be, both have full LED lighting, though only the Acura has LED fog lights. Moving to the side, even though both are front-wheel drive based crossovers, the MDX does a good job of mimicking rear-wheel drive proportions. Both side designs are punctuated by 20-inch multi-spoke alloy wheels. Around back, again the designs look extremely different from each other, with boxy versus smooth styling. But as far as the actual features are concerned, they are the same, with LED lighting, exposed exhaust pipes, and 5,000 pounds of towing. Now checking out some of the individual features, both of their mirrors have heating, blind spot monitoring, and auto dimming, but the Palisade is missing out on the power folding. In addition to BSM, both also include every other safety system you can think of. Among them are forward emergency braking with pedestrian detection, adaptive cruise control with stop and go, lane keeping assist, highway drive assistance, and auto high beam headlights. And the last thing on the outside is that the Hyundai comes with the longer overall warranty. And even though the MDX added complimentary maintenance this year, it's still 1 year shorter than what Hyundai is offering. But anyway, that concludes the outside, so now let's get to the more important cabins before we take them out for a test drive. So first walking up to them, both have smart entry systems and remote start. You will notice that there are a couple extra buttons on the Palisade's fob, and that's because it has the remote smart parking system that allows it to pull into and out of tight parking spots unmanned. Pulling open the doors reveals interiors that both have really upscale designs, but delivered in totally different ways. Now starting with the seats themselves, both have tons of adjustment, including adjustable bolsters, which you don't usually expect to see. They also have memory, heating, ventilation, and really high-grade leathers. But if you want massaging seats, you'll have to choose the Palisade because only the performance-oriented MDX Type S has them. Once fully inside the cabins, we can begin to inspect the material quality. We're both seriously impressed for their respective price tags. I say that because, while not a night and day difference, the MDX certainly has nicer elements befitting of a luxury badge, with extra leather on the dash, plus genuine open-pore wood and aluminum throughout. While Palisade isn't quite as opulent, it is still probably the nicest cabin in the mainstream three-row category. After startup, you'll see very similar gauge and technology situations. Both have reconfigurable and customizable 12.3-inch gauges and head-up displays, but the Hyundai does have the extra feature of blind spot cameras. Coming back to the steering wheels, both are leather-wrapped and heated, but only power adjusting on the Acura. Another area of importance is interior storage, since these are family crossovers after all. MDX has a large center console and giant wireless phone charger. However, the styling prevents it from having the front bin or giant center pass-through that the Palisade has. Both models have electronic push-button shifters, and when in reverse, both also have 360-degree camera systems. That being said, only the Hyundai has the ability to look around the vehicle from a 3D perspective. And now that brings us to the volume knobs, so let's give the audio systems a sample. I applaud that both of them have metal speaker grills, and the sound quality itself is good in the Palisade, but spectacular in the MDX. Both have 3-zone automatic climate controls, and they both also have 12.3-inch displays. But that's where the screen similarities end. The MDX's screen is actually not a touchscreen, and instead you use a touchpad controller on the dash. While I'm sure you would eventually get used to it, regular touchability in the Hyundai is appreciated. Both resolutions look very crisp, have standard navigation, and Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. However, the Acura fights back with the ability to run them wirelessly. Finally, to wrap up the front of the interiors, both have panoramic sunroofs, but the MDX's is more impressive since it is one single piece instead of a dual design. Now let's head around to the rear, which is perhaps just as important as the front since these are used as family vehicles. Dimensionally speaking, the Palisade has the advantage, with about 10% more legroom and 5% more headroom. And as far as the features back here, they have similar amenities with some exceptions. We have heated seats, sunshades, USB ports, household power outlets, and climate controls. The exceptions are that only the Hyundai has the very bougie touch of ventilated rear seats, and only the Acura has the multi-function middle seat, which can be a seat, a center console with storage, or be removed completely to make captain's chairs. Let's head to the next row of seats, where a similar story plays out. Again, the Hyundai has more legroom, though the headroom difference is less than the 5% advantage needed to score a point. The Palisade also has rear air vents, which are conspicuously missing from the MDX, and heated third row seats. Moving out back, both have hands-free power tailgates, and once they open up, space numbers are good for both. It is worth noting that only the Palisade has a power folding third row. Lastly, both have power passenger seats, but only the MDX has memory on this side as well. So heading out onto the road, both these crossovers are family and comfort focused, and use similar powertrains to achieve that goal. They are rocking naturally aspirated V6s, with almost identical power numbers of just under 300 horsepower. As expected, that makes acceleration very similar as well. There's a bit of an acceleration, a little bit foiled by the red light here, but you can already tell this has got plenty of power on board. So, of course, everything really is so much different with this new MDX. However, the powertrain situation really isn't too different. You've got the same engine on board, so it's the 3.5-liter V6 engine. It's making 290 horsepower, 267 pound-feet of torque. Again, exactly the same as the outgoing generation. traffic there.
And there is 60 miles an hour in the Palisade. Now, granted, that was very much up a hill, but we are in Asheville, North Carolina. We don't have a super familiar route for us here, so we're going to do the best we can to get you guys everything. That was a good acceleration for you all. As you can see, even with the throttle absolutely matted to the floor, this Palisade still has a very refined note to it, and I think that's really the biggest benefit.
As far as the rest of the powertrain, the MDX has a 10-speed automatic transmission, compared to an 8-speed automatic in the Hyundai. While having more gears isn't necessarily an advantage, in this case, the MDX's transmission seemed to have the advantage in smoothness. Now let's talk about the other aspect of the powertrain. This has got a 10-speed automatic transmission now. That replaces the previous 9-speed automatic. This is Honda's in-house developed transmission, as opposed to the ZF transmission, and this definitely seems like a better programmed transmission, more responsive. It gets you in the right gear at the right time, and it really does a good job in that respect.
Now, as far as other aspects of the powertrain that you might have noticed during that acceleration, the 8-speed automatic transmission is something worth noting. That, of course, has not changed for 2023, so we have the traditional 8-speed. It's a very good transmission. As you can see, I'll kick it down there. It's very fast responding to any type of throttle input. It's really anything you would want out of a transmission in this segment of vehicle.
Also, while both have all-wheel drive systems, the MDX has Acura's sophisticated super handling all-wheel drive, which sends up to 70% of the torque to the rear wheels in normal driving, helping for a sharper, almost rear drive feel. Nice. So, with the dynamic mode or sport mode, definitely the throttle aggression is dialed up. I'm also noticing that the steering gets a lot quicker responding, as well as firmer. In the normal mode, it's incredibly light. However, regardless, you can probably sense that it's still very comfort oriented even when you put it in the sport mode. That's what this MDX is geared towards. And speaking of smoothness, it is really the most important thing with these luxury SUVs. Both ride amazingly and absorb all but the largest road imperfections. Their steering setups are very lightweight in normal mode, but in the sport setting, the MDX's steering firms up nicely to complement its more buttoned-down feel.
Yeah, and one thing I really want to just discuss with this Palisade is how comfortable it is while we're sitting here on the highway. That's the first thing that struck me when I hopped in this model this morning, is just, oh my goodness, this feels extremely luxurious. We don't have an air suspension or anything crazy like that, but the suspension is absolutely awesome. It soaks up the bumps really well. This is actually quite a rough interstate road, and it is just doing a great job. The seats are incredibly comfortable. I'm even getting a massage right now. I'm getting a whole body massage in a Palisade. Yes, I am, and I am not sad about it whatsoever.
Sound insulation is also important, and we're very surprised to report that the Palisade nearly matches the MDX's impressive reading of 53.9 decibels at highway speed. Now, even though the road surface is a little beat up, we're basically going about 55 miles an hour, so we'll go ahead and do the sound level reading. All right, 54.9. I think that is.
Wow. All right, wow. 53.9 decibels.
And lastly, for fuel economy, they achieve the exact same figures, and there are no available hybrid models at this time. So before we see the final winner, we can't forget about the large price difference between these two of $12,385. Based on our scale, the Hyundai should receive 6 points. But like many things, the value you place on this is personal to how you value your own money. So make of that as you will. Also, there is something to be said about the prestige of owning a luxury nameplate, so we will throw a couple points back towards the MDX to represent that. And that's it, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed watching this comparison as much as we enjoyed making it, since it's a very interesting subject. At the end of the day, these are both very nice crossovers that we recommend. But if you want to save some dough, then the Palisade is certainly the way to go. Let us know which one you guys would pick in the comments below. And thanks for joining us for this Car Confections comparison. We'd really appreciate if you'd subscribe to the channel and help us make more comparisons as well as our signature full review videos. Take care and stay safe out there.